Guess which country has the highest rape rate in the world? We're number one. We're number one. That's right. According to the Crisis Intervention Center, Americans do more raping than anyone else on the planet. In fact, 1 in 8 women are sexually assaulted in this great nation of ours. Unless, of course, you're a female serving in the armed forces, where your odds get even better, because 26% of women are sexually assaulted in the military. That's more than 1 in 4 for those of you who suck at math. Remember to support the truth! Apparently the frat boys in America's institutions of higher learning are nothing but a bunch of slackers, with only 1 in 7 women in college getting raped. 74% of rapes are perpetrated by assailants well known to the victim. But that's just practical. I imagine stalking is quite time-consuming. 1 in 3 girls under the age of 18 are sexually abused, and 61.5% of rape victims are under the age of 18. Who doesn't prefer a younger lady? I mean, the Founding Fathers decided the legal consenting age was 7, and there were prostitutes as young as 9. The British monarchy was so oppressive that they set the legal consenting age at 12 in 1275. So what if 61% of rapes are never reported to the police? At least the majority of the ones that are get solved.
60% of our rapes and arsons go unsolved.
Look at the bright side. If a woman sets a rapist on fire, odds are she won't get caught. And at least the police are keeping an honest record of the crimes when they're reported.
Police departments around the country, Philadelphia, Boca Raton, St. Louis, have tried to make their crime statistics as rosy as possible so they'll look good to the public, their own residents, and they, instead of reporting, for example, rapes of prostitutes to the FBI, they file them away with a memo in a file cabinet. Nobody ever knows.
Well, law enforcement is under serious budget constraints. I mean, why else will the Sheriff's Department of Wasilla, Alaska make the victims pay for the rape sample kits while Sarah Palin was married? That's what you call a free market solution. Besides, it's not like there's a national definition of rape. It's decided by the states, just the way the right-wingers like it. Whether or not there's a war on women is a matter of semantics, but they sure are getting raped a lot. I wonder what the popular right-wing female pundits on YouTube have had to say about all this. But what do you expect from a society that glamorizes pimps and sexualizes children? Bill H.R. 3 would have prohibited the taxpayer funding of abortions of pregnancies that are a result of non-forcible rape. Initially, I thought the conservatives' definition of non-forcible rape was when they hit a woman in the back of the head and knock her out before she can say no. It turns out that one of the definitions is when a woman is coerced or blackmailed into having sex. That makes sense considering 50% of women are sexually harassed in the workplace. Being management has to have its perks, pun intended. Pregnancies that were a result of incest would have been excluded from taxpayer funding as well. But don't we have enough teabaggers already? If you were a 9-year-old girl who got knocked up by mommy's boyfriend, no tax-funded abortions for you, because that too would have been non-forcible rape. I guess you could say that a Republican is a rapist's best friend. Maybe that's why Ted Bundy decided to serve as Republicans back. Of course, I'm neither insinuating nor implying that all Republicans are rapists. So when you hear the word rape, don't think of the word Republican. And when you hear the word Republican, don't think of the word rape. You want to sexually exploit a woman without the risk of being brought up on charges? The solution is prostitution. There may only be 40 million active prostitutes worldwide, but with current economic trends, the ranks are sure to swell faster than the Southern Avenger at a cross burning. Because 92% of prostitutes surveyed said that they'd like to leave the sex trade but can't due to lack of money or food. Talk about trickle-down economics. Speaking of economics, for the most frugal of perverts, there's always survival sex.
Survival sex is having sex with somebody, male or female, in order to get food, housing, a watch, clothing.
In other words, it's a free market solution that provides women with a choice. Suck dick or starve. The guy gets a blowjob, the girl gets a cheeseburger, everybody goes home happy. Well, the guy will go home, the girl probably won't have one, but you get the point. For those of you who want to see a woman get degraded without leaving the comfort of your recliner, look no further than the 7th largest grossing industry in America, pornography. With 11 years old being the average age that a child is exposed to pornography, who needs SpongeBob? Hell, With the Supreme Court legalizing virtual child porn back in 2002, there's bound to be something for everyone. Although I'll never understand the demand for gay porn, I think professional wrestling would be enough.
I like big tits.
Well, with 153 new titles being produced each week, you're bound to see plenty of them. In fact, there are twice as many sexually oriented businesses in America as there are McDonald's and Starbucks combined worldwide. That's a lot of secret sauce. The National Law Center did a study of the effects of sexually oriented businesses on 32 cities. In Phoenix, Arizona, sex crime rates went up 506%, and in Indianapolis, Indiana, overall crime went up 23%. A study done by California State University showed the effects of pornography on 100 students. 50 watched hardcore porn, and 50 didn't. The results were quite interesting. The group that watched hardcore porn considered infidelity more acceptable by 19%, and their belief in male domination went up 30%. They also had a higher acceptance of male promiscuity by 19% as well. A similar study done in 1984 of 160 people showed that those who watch porn support women's rights 46% less. Their suggested jail time for rapists was half that of non-porn viewers. They also began to view sadomasochism, group sex, and bestiality as normal. Of course, the fact that corporations like Comcast, News Corp, and AT&T make millions of dollars a year off of the porn industry has nothing to do with the mainstream media's lack of criticism toward it. But at least they're bringing attention to Petraeus' sex life rather than paying attention to the war crimes he's committed. Porn performers and prostitutes suffer from PTSD at rates similar to those of U.S. veterans. But hey, at least it provides women with limited opportunities to make a lot of money.
I suppose there's a starving child in the slums, and you say, well, I'll give you food if you'll let me abuse you. Well, I suppose there have to be laws against child abuse, fortunately. But suppose someone were to give your argument. Well, after all, the child's starving otherwise, so you're taking away his chance to get some food if you ban abuse. Is that an argument? The answer to that is stop the conditions in which the child is starving. And the same is true here. Eliminate the conditions in which women can't get decent jobs. Not permit abusive and destructive behavior.
Yeah, but it's not as if women are treated all that bad in America, even if men commit 83% of the spousal murders and 75% of the dating partner murders. In 70 to 80% of the intimate partner homicides, no matter which partner was killed, the woman was physically abused before the murder.
And male aggression against women is real and it's of epidemic proportions, Holocaust proportions.
No wonder 70% of women would rather have chocolate than sex. So as Vladimir Lenin once asked, what is to be done? First of all, I'd recommend that you ladies always use protection. If you'd like to understand how sexual predators think and what you can do to protect yourself from them, I'd recommend Obsession by FBI criminal profiler John Douglas. Curious about the pornography industry and its impact on our society? I'd recommend the documentary film The Price of Pleasure.